Today I'm going to make a vintage style card using this rubber image from Vintage Image Craft. They are on Facebook, and every day they bring up free or copyright free images. I've just printed it off on some Creative Crafting World paper, or cardstock, which is what I use for everything. I've cut it down, and to the edges I've added the vintage photo distress ink, and I'm using 2 pads from the Works, Textures and Rustic Nature, because I think these tones work nicely with the image. I'm also going to add distress ink around the edges of the paper as well, just to tone everything in and take away the white core of the paper. This image actually has an Easter sentiment on, but I don't want to use that. It's not actually an Easter card anyway, for one thing, and I don't usually make Easter cards, so yeah, I think it says Easter greetings. But I just love this image. I think that rabbit is so cute, and the purple on those flowers is lovely. Obviously just matte and layering this using some double-sided tape. And I think the blue purple tones in that piece there bring out the flower just near his mouth there, which is obviously the same colour tones. And then I've used dyes to make these flowers, which I've coloured with distress ink markers, just to tone those in. So there we are, those ones I've used. I've used them with a brush, so I've just scribbled a bit onto my mat that you can see, and then just painted with it. And I was just pointing out there that there are some watermarks as well, and I've deliberately added those again to give it a bit of a vintage age. Just going around that final edge with the vintage photo distress ink. And I've also got some rub-ons, so I've used the butterfly from that. I'm just using a lolly stick just to transfer that image onto the card. It's been a while since I've used transfers, but I actually really enjoy them. You can just add a hint of something with a transfer or a sentiment. Obviously the important thing is to check that all of that image is taken to the card before you peel the sheet off. That's done. I think that tones in well. So I've gone through my lace scraps and chosen some bits to add to this, just to give it a bit of a shabby chic look. And this bit I can actually cut in half because of the way it's made. So I'm just trimming or cutting down the centre of that, and that's obviously going to give me 2 pieces instead of 1, so I'm being a bit frugal with that. And I think that this particular piece might have been sent to me by Linda Simpson. I think it was in a giveaway, if I remember rightly. I'm just going to stick that underneath that bottom layer. Again, I'm just using some double-sided tape. And also a bit of wet glue. I just find it a bit better for material things, and also I'm just trying to line that up so it's straight with the bottom. You can see all those pieces of the trim underneath the layer, and I'm doing the same to the other, or the top side as well. Just checking that it's peering over the top in equal measure so it doesn't look all skew-whiff, and trimming off that end. Then again, I think these were from that same giveaway, so these are like some faux pearls, and I'm using the wet glue to attach these. That's that piece done as well. And then in this Elizabeth Craft Designs die, there is a tiny ladybird. So I've die cut that out. And then I am going to colour it in with distress markers. So that's barn door. Again, this is what I was referring to earlier. I just scribbled some on my mat and then took the paintbrush. This is one of the paintbrushes where you fill it with water. And I've got my Zig Millennium pen there. I'm not sure what size that is, but it's probably one of the smallest ones, so I can just colour in the rest of the ladybird. And also obviously add some spots to her wings. I wish I'd have gone a bit bigger with the spots instead of dots that actually created spots, but that's a lesson learned for next time. And I'm just trying to make those wings a slightly deeper red because they do look quite orange. So I'm just taking another layer of that barn door over the wings. There we go, so that's that flying off into the distance. And for my base card, I've used an A4 folded in half, but I don't want it to be that plain white because that's too much white with the fussy embellishments and vintage style of the card. So I've got this stencil, now I can't remember who it's by, sorry, and I'm using that with the peeled paint distress ink. And I'm not worried about it being perfect because it just adds to that vintage feel. It's just to take away, like I said, that harsh white from behind the image. And then I'm using Pinflair glue gel to adhere that to the card base, just because I want to give it some height. I don't want to put it flat onto the card. And I'm using a pin to do that because I can't get on with the syringe. Sometimes I use a cocktail stick, but I don't know where it was, so it's just easier to use that pin. And don't forget when you use the glue gel to squeeze a little bit out of the top before you put the lid on, because otherwise it will go hard and you won't have any more glue to use. And I've wasted at least 2 tubes because I haven't done that properly. And just positioning that on the card. Now I could add sentiment, but I decided not to, and so it's finished. I've just got a still at the end so you can see the finished card. Thank you so much for watching. Please leave me a thumbs up and a comment, and until next time, cheerio.